The price of liberty, they say, is eternal vigilance. As the country journeys into a defining new year with its approaching elections, it is the hope of many that the ideals of our democracy will be safeguarded, key amongst them our liberty. Hello and welcome to this week's installment of Press Conference, the very first for this year 2020. On Press Conference, journalists gather to dissect and analyze the major press briefings and engagements in the course of the week under review. My name is Duke Mensah Opoku. In this edition, we begin with the very hot issue of a new voters register. It started before the year was put to a close. That's for 2019. Getting to the latter part of the year, the matters came up, especially when it was being considered in Parliament, the budget for the Electoral Commission. But this year has come up strongly as one of the issues coming up in the first week of the year. Two main political coalitions made up of the many political parties in the country split down the middle, one campaigning for this new voters register and the other very much against it, even to the point of organizing a demonstration in Tamale yesterday. We'll be looking at the arguments as presented in two major press conferences this week by these two major political coalitions. Also, the matter of one constituency, one ambulance. Just when the president was set to distribute these ambulances across the country, the National Ambulance Service prompted the Ghana Health Service and the Ministry of Health to write to the president to stop the distribution of these ambulances. But where are we with this story? There's more on that on Press Conference tonight. And finally, we talk football, we talk sports, the bouncing back of the Ghana Premier League. But it's not without controversy as a result of the granting of the television broadcast rights to Chinese broadcasting firm or Chinese broadcasting pay TV, Star Times. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation says behind the raw deal, but the GFA has been explaining. So we'll look at that tag of local rights, TV rights, here on Press Conference tonight. The show is live and interactive via the WhatsApp line 0550585832. You can join us via the Facebook stream. Drop your comment. We would read it for you on Twitter. The hashtag is Press Conference. We'll take a break. When I come back, I'll introduce my guests. We'll delve into the issues. Stay with us. Welcome back. I have a crack panel to help me do the discussions tonight. To my immediate left is Gordon Asare-Bediako. He's editor for the New Crusading Guide and also managing editor for ABC newspaper. You're welcome, Gordon.
Thank you, my brother. Happy New Year.
Many happy returns.
So we haven't finished with his credentials.
Next to him, next to him is Samir Afe. Samir Afe is the Dean of the Presidential Press Corps and my colleague here at City FM and City TV. And to my far left is a man who was already introducing himself before we even introduced him. Kobe Fiagbe is the managing editor of Ghanaian Lens newspaper. You're welcome, Kobe.
You have been very unfair to my brother.
Why? He's not complaining.
His credentials as the PR for State Housing Corporation.
He's not complaining.
His credentials.
He's here in his capacity as a journalist.
Yes,
for here, that's what matters.
And also as
he's here for ABC News.
No, see,
he's here for ABC News.
He's rather putting across a protest that is a former police officer. But that's why he puts premium on that.
He's a former police officer, 10 journalists. That would have put premium on that if we were discussing a major security issue. A major security issue. But today we are not. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kobe, for that intervention. Yes. I think he's not complaining, so we'll take it up from there and begin with the very first. We'll begin with the very first issue. The political parties who are clamoring for this new register. We know the Electoral Commission presented a budget of some 1,033 million Ghana cedis to the Parliament, or to Parliament, a special budget committee, it was approved. Within that was also a component for the voters register, some 444 million Ghana cedis. We are being told by the Electoral Commission that it's now around some 390 million Ghana cedis for a new voters register. A coalition of political parties, being spearheaded by the NDC. Against this, they organized a protest yesterday in Tamale. Another coalition, of course, made up of parties such as the NPP, the Liberal Party of Ghana, amongst others, are clamoring for this. Well, let me take you to the two press conferences, major press conferences that have been held this week addressing these issues.
We are a coalition of political parties for yes to a new register. We support the Electoral Commission because their justification for the new register is very clear. Also, our main reason is simple. The NDC, NPP duopoly can't be broken by us. We believe the EC has made a solid case for a new register in terms of cost, time, and credibility. We support the compilation of a new register, and we expect all political parties to support the EC in the quest to deliver a better organized election than before. Regrettably, despite demonstrating enough utility and justification for the adoption of a new biometric voter management solution to deal with the many challenges with the current system, some political parties, led by the NDC, are hell-bent on opposing the improvements to our electoral system. It is a fact that historically, the NDC has vigorously opposed changes designed to improve the electoral system. Yet, the changes have benefited the NDC as well as the nation, with increasingly transparency leading to increasingly free and fair elections since the Fourth Republic.
Over the period, the convention has been that anytime population census are compiled, it becomes a justification for which a new voters register should be created. Why is the Electoral Commission running ahead of the 2020 population census? The Electoral Commission should wait for the figures of the 2020 population census to be concluded before they can make any attempt at doing a new voters register. If they insist, they will do the voters register. The Inter-Party Coalition against the new voter register want to assure you that on Saturday we shall be in Tamale to embark on a massive demonstration to tell the people of the world. We also want to send a message that on the 21st of January we shall be in the Ashanti Regional Capital to embark on a similar exercise. We shall be in the Greater Accra on the 28th of January to do the first three phases of these demonstrations. In between, you may find us at the airport. You may find us at various embassies. You may find us at almost every part of this country, picketing to ensure that the Electoral Commission does not take our right. We want to assure the Electoral Commission that if it is about their 10%, the basis for which they want to embark on this exercise because oil must pass through their fingers. This time round, we assure them that they have failed.
So first we saw Kofi Akpalu, founder of the Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG for short, and just gone by is Bernard Mona, National Chairman of the People's National Convention. Let's begin the discussions. Let me begin with you, Gordon, because Gordon, a few years back, got a major scoop on the Electoral Commission in the country. Yes. So he understands the workings of the Electoral Commission. For him to have been able to make that major scoop, because we give him that credit for knowing what goes on very well in the Electoral Commission. But let me begin with you. We've heard the arguments from both sides. Of course, the Electoral Commission has itself stated its position, time without number, and has tried to convince many Ghanaians, but many are still not convinced. Who should the Electoral Commission be listening to?
Well, I think the Electoral Commission should be listening to their mandate.
Okay.
Okay. They should listen to the laws establishing the Electoral Commission and what they are supposed to do according to law. Whatever they are doing, if it's against the law, then it's not right. Then they have to stop. But somebody should come up here and tell us that what the Electoral Commission is doing or wants to do or seeking to do is unlawful. Then we can back the person. For me, as a political party who as individual citizens, we have the right to demonstrate.
Yeah.
But that does not stop the Electoral Commission from carrying out its mandate. So, if you think you're a political party and you have the right to demonstrate, why should the Electoral Commission also not think that it has the right to carry out its mandate? Now, the most important thing for me is that both NPP and NDC have been very consistent in terms of their stance on the new register. Mm-hmm. Let's just go back to 2016. 2016, NPP was clamoring for a new register. NPP was in opposition. NDC was in power. NDC said there was no need for any new register. There was an independent body called EC. And then the EC said there was no need for any new register. And so no new register was compiled. That was democracy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure NPP was happy. Come 2020, Electoral Commission says we need a new register. MDC is in opposition now. NDC, true to their stance in 2016, says we don't need a new register.
Okay.
NPP, true to their 2016 register, says we need a new register.
But there must be some form of a compromise as to what should be done.
No. Compromise from where? Can anybody show me any law that says there should be a compromise?
But would we not be? That's the essence of having an IPAC even in the
No,
first
wait.
place. There should be some understanding.
In 2016, when NPP was pushing for a new register, did anybody talk about compromise? Was there a compromise? Was there a new register? Mm-hmm. This country didn't burn because no new register was compiled. This country didn't burn.
But are you convinced by the reasons that have been given? By
I am more than convinced.
EC now.
In fact,
why we need a register close to that will cost us close to 400 million Ghana cedis.
Duke,
that within the kind conditions of this country.
Duke, I can tell you, it beats my imagination that a well-meaning Ghanaian will say, after going through the comprehensive explanation put out by the Electoral Commission, that the person is not convinced that there's the need for a new register. It beats my imagination.
Really?
Yes. I have the statement read by the Electoral Commission during the Christmas festivities. Maybe whilst discussions are ongoing, I will just be reading portions of it. Honestly speaking, this register cannot take us to the election. We can't.
A register that was used to elect a current president, a register that has just been used to has been used to conduct a referendum, has been just used to elect new assembly members, was going to have been used to conduct another referendum, a second referendum for that matter. It's not fit for 2020.
It's not fit for purpose. The last assembly elections, how many people went to the polls? Less than 6 million. 2016 elections, between Akufo-Addo and John Mahama, they had a vote of about close to 11 million. These 5 million people who went to the elections to cast their ballots, almost 40,000 people were verified manually. Out of 5 million, almost 40,000 people were verified manually. 2008 elections, second round, Mills beat Nana Addo by 41,000.
Yeah.
And you think we can go to election whereby out of 5 million, almost 40,000 people, then when 14 million people are going to cast their ballot, the number of people who are going to be verified manually, which is not fair. Look, the kind of explanations the Electoral Commission has put out, I am convinced, because especially the one coming from STL. STL is the service provider. Now, they bought the equipment for Electoral Commission. And the STL has written a letter to the Electoral Commission that the equipment used, they've raised their end of life, which they call EOL, end of life. And so necessarily, two issues. Either the parts are replaced or a new one is bought. The difference in terms of cost between buying a new device and replacing them with a new one, virtually almost the same. So what is the sense?
But that's just one component of it.
What are the other components?
Re-registering everybody, the stationery that will go into it, the new IT infrastructure that will be put in place.
This
for
the new one.
Register.
The new
Why
one.
don't we just upgrade what we have?
See, I was reading a certain story on Google, I guess on Thursday. Are you aware that even though we have Android phones, by 1st February, a lot of Android phones will not support WhatsApp?
But you upgrade. That's why
you can't upgrade. No, you cannot upgrade. No, you cannot upgrade it.
So what do you do?
It's rich in Zenith. You cannot upgrade it anymore.
This story, I'm suspicious.
I'll just check it for you.
So you're wrapping up comments on this.
Yes, so what I'm saying is that the Electoral Commission has the mandate. NDC, NPP, whatever, they also have the right to demonstrate. But it doesn't stop the Electoral Commission from carrying out its mandate. They should just go ahead. When people were talking, I heard some people saying that there was a certain so-called ECOWAS convention, which stated that 1 year, no, they even said 1 year to elections, you cannot change a new register, which is false. It's not true. In fact, what the ECOWAS treaty says is that 6 months to elections, you cannot effect
changing the electoral laws.
Yes, major changes in electoral laws. It doesn't even say electoral laws, major changes. But there's even a caveat. Unless there's a compromise by all stakeholders, that's even 6 months to elections.
Okay.
So what are people saying?
All right. Okay. Samira, what will be your take on this issue?
Well, Duke, it's interesting how the politics of Ghana tends to when your party is in power or in opposition. Not too long ago, the NDC was defending the Electoral Commission, every move, every decision it makes.
But that's dangerous.
Now it's the other way around.
That's dangerous.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous. We have the NPP and the other minority parties supporting the Electoral Commission on the call for a new register. Some years back, it was the NDC that was doing this particular crusade, if I want to choose that word advisedly. So it's interesting how these two political parties see the Electoral Commission, depending on the position they find themselves, even if in government or in opposition. But the Constitution of Ghana, Article 45, says the Electoral Commission is the one mandated to run elections and also, as and when necessary, to compile a new register. So if the EC comes out to say that indeed they want to compile a new register, it's within their mandate to do that. But many people have also questioned the timing. In 2004, before the 2004 election, there was a new register. That's all the re-election of President Kufuor. In 2012, there was a new register. That was when there was a call for biometric verification, addition of biometric verification into the system. That was in 2012. There was a new register for the 2012 election. It was the same register used for the 2016 election. So what's new when people call for a new register in 2016? Perhaps there should be an upgrade of the system used. As Gordon said, the biometric equipment,
the cost involved.
The cost involved. I had the opportunity to sit in a meeting between the president and the chairperson of the Electoral Commission in September last year, when they called on the president at the Jubilee House. A number of issues Madam Jane Mensah raised made a lot of people convinced that indeed the EC needs to compile a new register. One key thing she said was that, as of now, the Electoral Commission we have here does not have control of the data they used in the 2016 election. A company by name Superlog has control of all this data. And even if the EC wants to have access to this data, they must contract Superlog for them to come and give them the data they need. She also said that the EC data center at the commission now is non-existent because you go in there and you can't find anything there.
But it's based on that they terminated some contracts with the
Yes, indeed. And according to her, they were paying this company $4 million anytime they needed to adjust or maintain this particular register. Now, the argument is that we want to compile our own register, have our own control of the data that will be generated from it. So when they are arguing that indeed they need a renewed register, we should also find a sense in it. But you also ask yourself, is this not the same register that saw the election of district level or assemblymen recently? Was it not the same register that was used to create new regions in some parts of the country? So I don't really find the argument for or against in this part. If the EC says indeed they want to do this, by law they are mandated to. We shall allow them to do this, even though they don't need the permission or approval of any political party before they can compile a register. At least consultation is better. I've had a statement from CDD Ghana, or I think a comment from one of the directors asking the timing of this particular register, because the argument is that in March this year there's going to be a population and housing census. So why don't the EC wait after the population and housing census, and then they can come out with this particular register, which the EC has argued that in the timing will not be favorable to them. So they must go ahead and register as of now. So I find it a bit confusing as to whether we really need it or we don't.
Kobe, do we need a new register?
You see, good evening, and since this is the first show for the year and our first appearance, let's wish viewers a happy new year and ourselves as well. And thank you for the opportunity. Do we need a new register? Let's examine the issues. There are two issues on the table right now. One is the EC's position that they don't have control over the data and that they have issues with the biometric verification systems that are in place. Two, that as a result of that, they need a new register. Now and that they want to introduce facial recognition. Let me deal quickly with the facial recognition thing. The facial recognition thing is really a non-starter. And why do I say so? The register we already have is facial recognition compatible.
Really? This is the first time hearing this.
This is the first time.
It's never been used.
This is the first time you're hearing it.
It's never been used. There were times. There were many.
It has never been used by the EC.
Yes, that's the point.
In terms of facial recognition, yes. But in terms of you go there, they see your face, and in the register, it's being used.
Comparing your face?
No, wait. I'm coming there. I'm coming there. Can you allow me to flow?
All right, Kobe, yes. You have the platform.
In 2015, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia called all of us to Aliza Hotel and told us that he employed facial recognition technology on the existing biometric register and detected foreigners on the ballot. You remember that?
I don't remember him saying he used facial
Goodness!
No, I remember. He used that technology to take a look at the pictures.
Yes.
And I'm saying that, I'm saying that in itself is an indication that the register we have already is facial recognition technology compliant.
Okay.
Wow, no.
Well,
if you want to take my time, no, feel free. No, it's a discussion.
Make the point. Yes.
No, but let Kobe also know that he doesn't have the time. You have the time. The time is not for him.
These two gentlemen. Anyway, make the point. So let's make the point.
So that's the first thing we need to recognize. So that whole thing that we need a new register for purposes of facial recognition is a non-starter. Mm-hmm. The register we already have has been proven that it is facial recognition technology compliant by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he did make the point very, very clear at Aliza Hotel. Now, what else is the issue? The issue is that we have a data. We don't control the data. It's because somebody else controls the data. Wow. Did the person just come and take the data? It was based on contractual agreements between the parties. The management of the EC at the time the contract was was being entered into thought that this was the best decision.
a new management has come in place. You don't think that it was good for a third party to control your data. Go to the contract, negotiate the necessary things, and take control of your data. Simple as that. You don't need to discard all that data just because you are what do you call it? You don't want a third party to hold it. In any case, just going to compile a new register, what are you going to do with the other data? Leave it with them to do with as they wish. That is because that is my biometric information data.
But that will not be of relevance anymore. If the new
says who?
If it's
wait. Do you understand what your biometric data
it will not
means?
be of relevance to our electoral system. That's the point I'm making.
But I'm saying that the EC has a duty to protect me, my data. Because that data was obtained by that third party on the instructions of the EC.
Okay.
So that data is owned by the EC. It is being held on behalf of the EC by that person. But that person does not own the data. So what is the EC going to do with that data?
The EC prides itself. They pride themselves in their independence and their.
I'm not disputing their independence.
How should they go about it?
But the EC boss, thankfully, this EC boss, when she was the IEA, was of the view that, in spite of the constitutional protections and guarantees of independence, the EC is still accountable to the people of Ghana.
Oh yes,
of course. They've not run away from that.
Would you allow me?
Yes.
And so, to that extent,
even when we are supporting you,
to that extent, the people of Ghana have an input to make into. Yes, they may have the authority to do, but the people of Ghana have an input. And if you are going wrong, we don't say that because you have the mandate and the legal backing to go wrong, we should allow you to go wrong because you have the mandate to go wrong.
Okay.
We need to point you to the fact that you are going wrong. And I'm saying, so far, have you heard the EC say what they are going to do with the data that was collected previously? No.
Well, that hasn't come up.
That hasn't come up. And that data is still very relevant. That we used is just last month. 7th December.
Can I ask a question?
17th December. Oh, it's even nearer. I thought it's 7th.
Can I ask a question?
Please ask.
The new register was compiled in 2012. What happened to the previous one?
The previous one was not biometric
data.
The previous one, there was no biometric data.
Has got to do with the
biometric data. You see, let me tell you something.
If you are worried about biometric data, almost now everything we do is biometric. Driver license is biometric now. Going to do passport is biometric now. The national card is biometric. So if you are worried about the storage of data, then I don't see where you're coming from.
The 2012.
What you are saying so because you really don't understand the point I'm making. My point I am making is that we have had registers in this country up to 2012. And we decided that, look, let's go and have biometric registration. And from that point onwards, going forward, we would just be doing continuous registration. Now, the reason why we opted for that approach so that we'll do continuous registration is that we want to avoid a system where every now and then we say we are going to open a register. We recognize the fact that this data that we are collecting operates on systems. Mm-hmm. The systems will go obsolete every now and then. Yes. But once they go obsolete, what you do is you upgrade or you transport the data onto a different system. You understand? But you don't have to discard the whole data and go and bring in a whole new data. One of the things against this register in the 20 as came out in the 2013 election petition was that there were minors on the register. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that this time in an election year we are going to open a register for how many more minors are going to come onto this new register? How many more foreigners, assuming that Dr. Baumia was right that at 10% analysis of the voter register, there were 70,000 foreigners. How many more of those foreigners will come on? Now we have a register which we have cleaned with even the help of the Supreme Court. With the help of the Supreme Court, we cleaned that register to a point where even the EC, as late as December, was stating clearly that this register is credible. There is nothing wrong with the register, except that they claim that it is overstretched. As to how a register gets overstretched, I haven't seen it yet.
Right, okay.
And they have not explained. So clearly, there is absolutely no reason for a new register.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. This is press conference here on City TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is press conference, the very first show for the year. It's now time for us to listen to your views and opinions regarding the issue we've been discussing. That's the matter of the new voters register. So this one from Al Hassan Wanwana Inwa says, if compiling a new voters register will rig an election, then Mr. Charlotte says should have done that for NDC to retain power. Ghanaians see the compilation of a new voter register for our next election. This kind register is discredited and full of question marks. My regards to Honorable Haji Ahumu for our Central. Kofi Seidu says, why should the Electoral Commission use over 400 million Ghana cedis to compile a new register when the Electoral Commissioner has told Ghanaians that the old or the current voters register is credible? That's your question. Shaddai from South Suntresu in Kumasi. NDC cannot decide for the EC. Why are they rushing to come back to power now after selling Ghana to... we can't continue with that. Seoku from Asuboy says, whether the NDC and their parachicks demonstrate for the rest of the year or not, the new voters register will be done. But thanks to President Akufo-Addo and Ghana Police Service for ensuring the safety of the NDC demonstrators, unlike what was witnessed under the Mahama era when people lost their eyes and blood flowed. One good term deserves another. Walanyo Nakwetia says the compilation of the voters register is a must by the EC to purge and also to clean up the register. The EC has a constitutional obligation to do what is right for Ghana so far as the election is concerned. Amakwasari from Kenya in the Afro region. Interesting times indeed. The previous register that was changed or replaced was used for the national and district level elections. There were also economic challenges in the country and many other issues were raised. Let the NDC continue to demonstrate as the NPP did, and let the EC also go on with their mandate. Mr. Fiagbe, is it only the court who can say the NDC? Okay, Mr. Fiagbe, it's only the court who can determine whether the EC is right or wrong, and not you. That's from Amakwansare. And the last one... Yes.
That is his choice.
Yes. Last one from Junior. Tamale says, the host is being unfair to Kobe. Oh, please stop interjecting. Well, it's a discussion. I'm not interjecting. If I have questions, I have every right to interrogate the claims he's making, Junior. Is it a team, or is it being put up by CCTV to gag him? Well, I'm not gagging him. Other panelists are also doing the same. When you remain silent during their submissions. Please, Kobe is making very cogent and relevant arguments, unlike the others that were making unrealistic and emotional submissions. Allow the listeners space to listen. Thank you very much, Junior, for your comments. But I'm not gagging him. He would bear witness. I'm just interrogating his claims. That's what my job is as the one moderating the discussions. I wish I could give every member of the panel 30 seconds to wrap up on the issue. I don't know if I can do that, my producers. But let me move on to the next issue. Or in the course of that discussion, before they move to that, they can make some supplementary remarks about the voters register, which is of course going to be a major issue going into this week and all the because that issue is not going away anytime soon. It's going to be a developing issue. Now let's come to the ambulances. The one constituency, one ambulance pledge by the Akufo-Addo administration, which they intend to fulfill. Many of those ambulances are they are parked at the forecourt of the State House for some 2 months now. The president hinted at the media encounter with the presidential media encounter that they're going to be distributed on the 6th of January, which is just this past week. But it didn't happen. because of a petition from the National Ambulance Service and the Ministry of Health. Well, this initiative is being supervised by Hawa Kumsen, who is Minister for Special Development Initiatives. My colleague Umar Sanda Amadu caught up with her this week, and this is what she had to say.
Trackers, I'm not sure we have any problem as at now. It's well done. They are now also getting an additional number, or the very, very number that is very reliable. So we are still thinking through, because we're thinking about 112.
As in the call, the number to be called.
Yeah, to be called.
It regularly was 193.
193, yes.
You want to change that?
We are looking at that, so it may be changed. Apart from that, with the trackers, I don't have any problem.
Why will you change the numbers, for instance?
Yeah, now we are, because of the digitization we are doing, we are also using Vodacom, which sometimes is easier to get another thing. So we are still talking. We are in discussion with it. Now, with the labeling, sometimes there are a lot of people who don't know names of their constituents. Unlike me, who is a member of parliament, if I were to be here, then I can tell, no, this constituency is like this. Like we saw the name Garu Binduri. There are two different constituencies, but the person didn't know and made it one constituency, but we have effect the changes.
So each constituency will get an ambulance?
Each constituency is getting an ambulance.
They are not going to do power sharing?
And we'll be left with about 32. Apart from the 275, we've procured 307, so 32 will be outstanding. So each constituency is going to have one ambulance. They will do the distribution.
So is it your ministry that will be managing these ambulances, or the ambulance service?
The ambulance service will be managing it. We have just done the procurement, and we'll hand it over to Health Ministry and then to the ambulance service. They are mandated to take care of these ambulances.
That's Hawa Kumsen, Member of Parliament and Minister for Special Development Initiatives. Let me begin with you, Sammy. The President came under serious criticism. He was criticized severely by the public, a section of the public, for not distributing the ambulances and waiting until the sit. And then on the sit, whilst he was getting ready, he gets his petition. Well, what do you make of all of this?
Well, this was a major campaign promise in the run up to the 2016 election, when the president said that indeed it was going to happen. The ambulances have been in town since last year, and then many people have said that why is the distribution not taking place? I remember the president explained that he doesn't want to do the distribution where one constituency will get, the other will not get, and then it will bring a whole lot of accusations here and there. Now they are all in. We are told that on the 28th of this month, the new date, the official distribution will begin. But that is said, the president was getting ready to do the distribution on the 6th of January this year until the letter from the health minister asking the president to postpone it to the 28th. I'm reliably informed that on the 28th of this month, indeed, that's going to happen. But many have said that why didn't we do it earlier? Yeah. I mean, the distribution earlier and wait till now. Now, the people who are going to manage this ambulance, the National Ambulance Service, they have come out to say that the job is not done yet. They need to fix in tracking devices, digital installations here and there, fixing other things, and then recruitment of the paramedics who are going to man this particular ambulance. Because it's not just anybody who can run an ambulance service or just sit in an ambulance and then it's moving here and there. You need to train people. Who are those going to pay them? Last week, I heard that the finance minister has given clearance for the recruitment of 900 people who are going to manage the service. I mean, the paramedics who are going to do. So let's give ourselves some time. The arguments people have made through Occupy Ghana and other civil society groups are saying, and the minority, that people are dying and the ambulance are packed there. I had a response from Hawa Kumsen that even before the ambulance came, people were dying, and so why don't we wait patiently?
Did she really say that?
I heard her on one of the local radio stations saying that even before the ambulance came, there were people who were dying, so we should take our time and an ambulance will come in to solve the issue. But the current ambulance situation in Ghana, which is 5, we hear is 55, 50. The entire population.
Now have 50. Ghana, it used to be 55 a couple of years ago, but it's now 50.
It's now 50 ambulances, the whole Ghana.
Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting. So I I'll say that let's give ourselves some time. The ambulance service says by the 28th of this month, everything will be through. The president will come and commission it. And every constituency in Ghana will have an ambulance, and we'll see how it goes.
Kobe. See, I'm gagging, so this one I won't ask any question.
Oh, no, you're allowed to. Me, I don't
Anyway,
know.
yes, your comment on this issue.
We have a problem. Our problem is that we politicize issues that we don't have any business politicizing. One constituency, one ambulance is one of those things that we don't have any business, even making it a campaign promise or making it one constituency, one ambulance. Now, you have brought the ambulances. You have labeled them. Forget about all the time that it took, as some of us believe, deliberately to enter into an election year so as to derive maximum publicity out of it as if you are doing something. You understand? Mm-hmm. One constituency, one ambulance. Now, you are giving the ambulance to a central, what's the name?
Service.
Central service, that's the Ghana Ambulance Service, which is in Accra, right? Then you
has branches has offices across the country.
Where? Show me one office or one of the offices in Kumasi.
But the ambulances
show me where the
ambulances
offices at Kumasi
are being manned by officers of the National Ambulance.
But you had just said that you have offices across the country.
Well, with presence presence across the country, not necessarily offices, but with presence across the country.
Let's not go into that. Now you are going to give the ambulances to the constituencies. No problem. It's good. It's going to be helping in all that. Meanwhile, you are saying also that you are going to get the center to be the one to be managing the ambulances. So fine. The center decides that we are sending the ambulance to an accident scene at Nsawam. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Drobo Amasama constituency is the one that is nearest, and so they have deployed that. Meanwhile, at that time, the facility at Drobo Amasama also needs that ambulance. I don't know if you understand the picture I'm painting. Yeah. There is no coherence in how the ambulance is going to be managed. That's the first thing that strikes me. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You have said that
there could be two emergencies in one constituency. And then where would the ambulance be?
One is being deployed by the center. The other is being deployed by the people on the ground and all that. I don't know if you understand.
No. It's not going to be deployed from Accra. That's what the understanding.
When I say the center, I'm referring to the number that the Vodacom number that she said they are going to bring. That is going to be the center.
If my understanding is right, that would be referred to the ground.
That is the center. Is that not the center?
The center would relay to the ground.
Very good.
For action to take place.
So I'm saying that, so the thing goes to the constituency, yet it is being managed at the center. Meanwhile, I don't know if you understand
these are the operations we are not very familiar with.
Exactly. That is the coherence I'm talking. That is the coherence I'm talking about. That needs to come out. But look, I'm glad that we have 300 ambulances. We used to have over 200. John Mahama brought in some 166. But this poor maintenance culture made it such that by the time he was leaving office, what we had was 55. Now, you are just telling me that even between 2017 and now, it's reduced to 50, which means 5 more have grounded. Why? Because of the lack of maintenance culture. And if we continue in that way, I'm sure that by the next 4 years, let's give ourselves 4 years. By the next 4 years, this 300 and something will reduce. I don't know if you understand the point I'm making. So, it is good that it has been brought. It is good that we will use it. But we must work on the maintenance culture that has seen that the 55 that was left out of the over 200 that John Mahama brought for the country, which was not labeled one constituency, one ambulance anyway, but it was for the country, which was used. Poor maintenance culture, it they've all gone
The one your
aground.
mama brought, isn't that the one we were told that it was not
It's
fit
not
for?
only Ado.
The one which we were told is not fit for purpose.
Oh, if that was the...
Is that what
if that was...
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
I know the diabolic question you're asking.
No,
but
I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
So I'm
not fit for
I'm
purpose.
also answering you. I'm also answering. If that was not, if that was what is not fit for purpose, how come 50 of them are still being used?
All right, let me come to.
No, wait. Let me answer him.
So wrap up the point.
You the one in charge.
Yes.
No, but you asked the question. So let me answer you. So I'm answering you.
We don't have.
Yes, so I'm telling him that if they claim that it was unfit for purpose, that is what 50 of them they are using now.
I'm not sure the 50 that are still in use are the ones from.
So then tell him then.
Right,
then tell him.
Gordon.
Duke, you see, who told Kobe that the 50 which are in use are part of the fleet of cars John Mahama brought? Who told him that?
I am telling you that.
It's not true.
It is very true.
For me, I don't have much to say about the ambulances. I want to dwell much on the Electoral Commission's decision to get a new register. This is a statement read by the Electoral Commission around 27 December. I just want to read a portion. Yes, I'll come back to the ambulance. It says, in a letter from our previous vendors, that's the STL, dated 19th November 2018, they stated as follows. We would like to remind you that in 2016, the registration we had in total 47% rate for BVRs during the preparation to registration period. We had high rate of failure of prepared kits which were sent to the registration centers, which created a challenge during the registration. The BVR kits are more than 7 years old and end of life and can hardly be supported. Please refer to a letter we have received from our suppliers HSB earlier this year, that's 2018. Please note that the tests were conducted 11 months ago. In the same letter from HSB partners of STL dated 18th, they said, we would like to announce that the items in the present BVRs are end of life, including laptops. This means that no components are available to repair the items. This is from the suppliers. Now it says, for purposes of availability, maintainability, and compatibility in the future, recommend to purchase new BVRs. If you have any questions, please contact us. This is a letter from...
but how does that talk about new register? Procuring new BVRs, how does that talk about new register?
Allow him to drive.
All right, so...
There is no point.
So, this is not from the Electoral Commission of Ghana. This is from the suppliers
but how
of the
does that
BVR
support
machines.
the request?
It is all part of the
No,
component.
it is not. You already have the data.
No.
He's talking about how to read the data.
We will take a break here. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll wrap up the discussions for this edition. Welcome back. This is press conference, the very first show for the year. I still have in studio Gordon, Sammy, and Kobe. Just come by, we're discussing the matter regarding the one constituency, one ambulance, which still sits comfortably at the premises of the State House, here to be distributed to constituencies where they are much needed. Well, the final issue has got to do with local football. The Ghana Football Association gave out the rights for the telecast of matches for the Ghana Premier League to Star Times after they abrogated an earlier 10-year deal with the same company. This week, it was given to Star Times again, but the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation also put in a bid. Quite unhappy about that. Sent out a strongly worded letter saying that they've been handed a raw deal. They were not happy with how they were treated, and that they felt that they had a stronger bid. They were offering $1.1 million every year for the product, while Star Times was offering $1,050,000 for the same product, and they felt that Ghanaians would enjoy the Premier League on the nation's broadcaster or the state broadcaster, which goes into every home, rather than to be given to a pay TV service for that matter. They have subsequently withdrawn all the equipment and their staff from helping Star Times with the production of the Ghana Premier League. Well, this is a media issue, media rights issue. In an era where, in the aftermath of the Anas expose, Ghana Football Association is clamoring for the love.
Bring back the love.
And all of that. where do you stand on this issue and the granting of the rights to start?
I realized that Kotoko was beaten today.
Yes. Very sad.
And has won.
And
very
in fact,
I watched it.
The first win,
Has
first win in 3 games. They lost the first
Against
win.
Loss.
And Kotoko was beaten at home.
Yes.
It was Silk Room, and I understand some barbaric acts happened over there.
Very condemnable.
Yeah,
very
condemnable.
very
People shouldn't do so far as
shameful acts.
Yes, we are a professional team. You must realize that you'll be beaten at home.
One person was shot.
Really?
Yes, one
And
person
still
was
on
shot.
admission at
Yes. The Kotoko Twitter handle just tweeting that,
Yeah.
and I saw confirming on the ground that
No, they
the
shouldn't
person
do
is
that.
in stable condition at the conference.
All right. So for me, when I hear people talk about the monetary consideration, that even the amount of money that GBC quoted was a bit higher than
Star Times.
For me, it doesn't make any sense to me. Even if GTV quoted half of what Star Times was willing to dole out to GFA, we should necessarily go for GTV's.
Yeah.
For me, that's my opinion. Because what is the sense in giving the right to Star Times that you will not get more than 20% of the entire Ghanaian populace watching? Because I don't own Star Times decoder. I'm not sure you own one. I'm not sure you know that. Yes. But at least we all have television sets that we can switch to GTV.
The first channel on your TV is GTV.
Yes, it's like you use GTV to set all the other
First channel on your TV.
You understand? So even if GTV had offered
GTV was demanding for 30% of every monies that will come from the title sponsorship.
You see, it is not
an amount which Star Times was not demanding.
Duke, it is not cast in iron. They could have sat down with them, discuss it. Okay, so for me, they should come back to the round table and discuss it again. If you are saying that we should bring back the love, this one, it seems you are starting the wrong footing. For me,
I'm disappointed in GFA 1 because GTV I felt was the best partner to carry this premium. They've done it before. This is not the first time. They've done it before.
The normalization cup, they showed the
they did. And GTV is in every home. Start time, you need a decoder before you can get start time in your home. They say they are partnering some of these free-to-air stations before you can watch it.
So the house game was live on Max TV.
Only 2. How many people can get Max TV in their home? Or for GTV, whether you're on analog or digital, you're able to get GTV. Start time, the argument Start time makes is that they go beyond Ghana and Africa. Yes. And so you want to project the lead outside Africa. If you don't fix your home, how do you fix outside?
GTV is even on DSTV.
On DSTV.
And CCTV will be on DSTV.
I am disappointed in the GFA. They should come back, renegotiate, and give the deal to GTV. And you cry idea.
During AFCON and World Cup.
Of course, we all watch it through GTV.
Yeah, so for me, they should come back again.
Why are you surprised? Me, I'm not. Because the whole GBC itself is being packaged for the Chinese.
Where you are going, I don't know what you are talking about.
Oh, you see, that's the...
You are talking football.
People don't want to... People don't want
talking
to...
football.
GBC is being packaged for Star Time. It's a serious
I'm not saying Star Time, I said for the Chinese.
Oh, okay.
I know Star Time is a Chinese company. The whole GBC itself, the GBC government channel, who was it given to before Amafo made noise and it was taken back?
There are allegations, they were never proved.
But if it hadn't come up, it would have gone. But because it... So now the
channels they use for commercial purposes.
I sat here and allow you to talk.
So, but when I was talking earlier,
but this is not
you
a matter of
football.
So for me, I am not surprised at all the way things are going. But trust me, this is one major blow to the Bring the Love Back campaign. Because Bring the Love Back campaign was going to be something that was going to, even every time you want to watch the matches,
you want to watch the match, go to the stadium.
That is why I'm coming to.
But can all of us go to the stadium?
No, it's not even can all of us. It is as the matches get interesting, as you find the matches, how do you call it, the games being livelier, then you move from the house to go and watch at the stadium. But if now I have to even go and look for a decoder before I can think, then obviously
on
the love is going to stay where it is.
On this issue,
the X.
My panelists added them. They all think that it should have.
But we shouldn't be surprised. It's a Chinese deal.
GBC. Well, that's how we wrap up the show. Just a couple of comments. This one from Vincent Yabwa says, "I'm enjoying the show. Good job, host." This one from Nasser Mingo from Kumasi says, "People need the ambulance. I don't know why the government is keeping them. How long will it take?" And so a couple of other messages. A lot of them. Sorry, we can't read all of them, but I've had in studio God Nasser Bediako, editor, New Crusading Guy, managing editor, ABC News. I wonder how you wear all of these hats. Anyway, Sami Uyafe is the dean of the parliamentary, the presidential press corps. All of you as presidential press corps. And you have Kobi Fiagba is managing editor. Is the managing editor of the Ghanaian Lens, and my name is Duke Mensah Opoku. Keep watching City TV. Happy New Year. Stay with us for the rest of the year. We'll bring you everything you need to know. This is the election center. This is an election year. Don't flip the dial.